What is up, guys? Kencho here, and in today's video, we are going to be reacting to another, that list of videos sent by my dear friend Wind, which I've also asked you guys a few days or weeks or a week ago to send me any type of horror video you guys have. It doesn't have to be MLP related. It could be FNAF or any analog horror that you guys wish for me to react. Now, Win being the only person who actually made a list, which is not that long, but he has provided with many videos. Now, this one you're gonna be reacting to is gonna be "Let Her In," which is a MLP fanfic reading by Guti Serenade. Now, no more talking, and then let's just hop on in. Hold on. Guti Serenade, Tenebrous Terror Tales. Got this weird sound in the back. The knocking.
Night 1. A hoof tapped against the window panes. It was 4 in the morning, and Fluttershy was standing outside of Apple Bloom's bedroom window.
Oh God.
Her eyes were blank,
Oh
and
God.
her smile slight enough to go virtually unnoticed. As
Oh
Apple
God.
Bloom turned her head towards the window, Fluttershy raised a hoof and tapped against the glass again. She
Oh
mouthed
my
4 words, her mouth barely moving.
It's cold out here.
Apple Bloom pulled the covers over her head. She listened to the creaks and groans of the
Oh, what
house
the heck?
ceiling.
That is the weirdest way to just wake
It would
up.
be dawn soon.
Thunderstrike.
The tapping started again.
Oh, some
Night
anim.
2. Fluttershy was standing outside of the window again. Her eyes didn't look quite right, but Apple Bloom would have been at a loss if asked to describe how. The dark red stain across the left of Fluttershy's face
Weird.
contrasted harshly with her normally bright fur. She again tapped on the glass, again mouthing those 4 words.
It's cold out here.
Yeah, that's not her then
It was not cold.
at all.
If anything, it
It
was an
was hot.
unusually warm spring night.
Knew it.
Apple Bloom pulled the covers up to her muzzle. A part of her wanted to open the window and let
No.
Fluttershy
Why would
in.
you Oh!
Yet there was that whisper at the back of her young mind.
No,
Some part of Apple Bloom's brain said.
do not open the window.
So she
Yeah,
merely
y'all
sat
saw
there,
that, right? That flicker?
staring into Fluttershy's slightly off eyes. Sleep seemed a remote possibility,
Oh, what the frick
but
happened?
eventually it came. Apple Bloom dozed off just as the tapping stopped.
Then she woke up to a weird face.
Night 4. Applebloom slept in Applejack's bed that night. She made up some excuse about nightmares, horribly aware of how immature she sounded.
What?
But her big sister was more than willing to switch bedrooms for the night. And of course, Applebloom could not tell her the real reason she was so distraught. Lying in bed, Applebloom started thinking about her foalhood for some reason. She recalled bright eyes peering out from an open wardrobe, shadows slinking
What
across the
the
floor,
hell?
a husky sigh as she approached sleep. But those were not memories,
Real
were they?
life.
Surely they were simply the remnants of past bad dreams. Applejack complained of a headache the next morning, but otherwise was none the worse for wear.
Nah, bro, she made it in. She managed to get
Night
inside.
5. Applebloom was alone in the house. Her siblings and grandmother had left the premises,
Dear
the former
God.
due to a last-minute order, and the latter due to some business with a distant relative. They would not be back until late the next day. Prior to bed, Applebloom locked all the doors and windows in the
Bro,
house.
no way. They
She
left her
made a
by
bed for
herself.
herself on the living room couch, and as one final precaution, Applebloom took an old garden hoe from the barn. She laid it next to her makeshift bed within Hoof's reach. It was raining
On
outside.
herself.
Applebloom listened to the raindrops splattering against the roof as she dozed off. Occasionally, she was convinced she heard something else. A footstep, a bang, a whisper?
Or maybe they're inside.
No, it was her imagination, or perhaps the wind. Applebloom snuggled deeper under the blanket.
Nah, she... Oh no.
More noises. They sounded as if they were coming from her bedroom,
Would you keep flickering
but
like
that
that?
was impossible. The window was closed.
Are you sure?
But was it closed?
Was it?
Applebloom sat up, her heart pounding. She thought her locking down of the house had been thorough.
What the
But
hell?
hadn't she intentionally avoided her bedroom, trusting the window to be closed? Yet
Oh
any
god.
pony in her
Oh,
family
sorry
could have
guys.
opened it
Just
prior to their
tired.
leaving.
Since it's like 1:38 in the morning. So...
Even more noises, banging, and perhaps foot.
Okay. Hearing this and hearing the situation she's in, like bro, I would just grab like something sharp. Cause I mean, if you don't have a gun or anything, that means you gotta fight him off with a gun or something, or just run away as fast as you can. But I guess in this situation, she has no option but to, I guess, wait and see what happens.
Steps. And Applebloom was now certain they were coming from her room. She clutched the blanket, quivering.
Oh,
What was she going to do? Investigate? Flee? But what if it really was her imagination, and the window was firmly shut?
you can't just hear creaks out of
If
nowhere.
so, stepping out of the house might put her in more danger. Applebloom threw off the blanket and dropped to the floor. She had to know. Perhaps she was trotting to her own death.
Uh-oh.
But it was better than simply waiting for some unknown horror to grab her. Applebloom took the garden hoe in her mouth before she headed up the stairs. The house was silent, but Applebloom was not fooled. She approached her bedroom with caution.
They're in the walls.
A part of her expected the door to fly open and for some awful creature to pounce. But having a weapon of sorts made Applebloom feel brave. Brave enough to gently push the door open without hesitation. The window was open. The wind, now practically howling, was slapping sheets of rain and leaves into the room. Judging by the twigs and leaves that had accumulated under the window, it had been open for a while.
Right.
But the window was not the part that made Apple Bloom pause. It was not the cause of the scream that
Oh
climbed
god.
halfway up her
She's
throat.
standing right in
She
front of her.
saw it within seconds. And once she did, Apple Bloom thanked Celestia she had not stepped into the room. Something was in Apple Bloom's bed. A pony-shaped lump was visible under the covers. It was moving, its chest rising
I
and
can see it.
falling with every breath. Apple Bloom thought she smelled something rotting and dusty, like the pages of a
Run.
very old book.
Run, bro. Don't
But she
just
could have
stand there.
imagined it. Apple Bloom did not move.
What?
Neither did the creature, save for its breathing.
It's an old-fashioned
Apple Bloom
standoff.
realized the creature did not seem to notice she was there. It did not stir as she stood frozen in the
Oh,
doorway, nor did the wind and rain seem to disturb it. Apple Bloom eventually left the room, quietly shutting the door behind her.
Bruh.
She went back downstairs, slower this time, as not to make too much noise.
Right.
Apple Bloom ended up spending the night in the barn. When her family returned and demanded an explanation, she made up some half-believable story about a burglar. She refused to return to the house until all the rooms had been searched. As Apple Bloom had expected, no signs of a break-in were found, save for the open window in her bedroom.
What?
Apple Bloom returned to her bedroom after the search was complete. Other than a few dry leaves and the lingering smell of decay,
Okay.
there was no indication of anything having slept in her bed. However, Apple Bloom found that one of the dresses in her wardrobe was covered with dirt
Oh.
and what appeared to be a single bloody hoofprint.
The hell?
Apple Bloom burned the dress in the fireplace later that day.
He gives a pig on my
Night
face.
6. Apple Bloom stayed up all night. She was sleepy to the point of near madness, but she refused to tear her eyes from the window.
Not to
Fluttershy
take
was
your eyes
watching her
off the
yet
window.
again. This time, she held a single piece of ripped cloth from her mouth.
What?
It was from the dress Apple Bloom had burnt. Apple Bloom had buried the remains of it in the yard. Apple Bloom thought of the eyes and the shadows that seemed to have haunted her early foalhood. She was now convinced she had also heard scratching noises and perhaps tapping. But memories and nightmares had become interchangeable as of late. Apple Bloom was not wholly convinced they were not one and the same.
Oh god.
The two sat locked in what seemed to be a staring contest until morning came. As soon as Celestia's light poked its way through the clouds, Fluttershy turned and trotted away.
What?
Apple Bloom did not get up from her bed. It was minutes before she at last gave in to slumber.
2 years free from hair.
Ah, you son of...
Last gave in to slumber.
Okay. Yeah, what is this
Night
Michael Myers?
7. Applejack had found the remains of the dress and demanded to know why Apple Bloom was burning her clothes. She also asked Apple Bloom about her apparent sleeping troubles and her hostility towards Fluttershy. Apple Bloom confessed nothing. She made excuses that were far from plausible. Apple Bloom did not care if her sister was satisfied or not. A part of her hoped Applejack would send her away, perhaps to a relative's house. At least, Apple Bloom would be far away from this nightmare if that happened. But Applejack had not sent her away. Apple Bloom was certain Applejack was consulting Big Macintosh over the matter. But for the time being, she was forced into another staring contest with Fluttershy,
Again?
or whatever loathsome creature wore Fluttershy's face, outside her window.
Because there's no way it's Fluttershy.
Fluttershy pressed her hooves against the window. Her eyes seemed larger than they should have been. She appeared
Oh god.
mournful, as if denied some great conquest. Applebloom could only stare for so long before she turned away.
No.
Fluttershy mouthed those familiar words again.
It's cold out here.
It's cold out here.
Applebloom stuck her head underneath the covers. She did not hear Fluttershy tapping at the window, but that mournful face had taken over her thoughts.
Don't do that, bro.
Night
Don't do that to
8.
me.
Applebloom thought she might have been sleepwalking the previous night, for she had not awakened in her bed, but curled up in front of the closed window.
Oh no.
Enough is enough, Applebloom thought as she lay in bed. It might have seemed like a
changing.
brave proclamation, but in truth, Applebloom was terrified. She again did not sleep. Her eyes focused on the creature outside of her window. Fluttershy returned Applebloom's stare, smiling and licking her lips.
Wait. Yo, licking her lips? It's crazy. I'm not being weird, but bro, she wants to eat her. She wants to just kill her like that, dude. That's crazy, dude. That's her face? Oh god. That is just too weird to look at. But right?
Night 9.
Ugh.
Earlier, Applebloom had overheard her older siblings talking about doctors. She was aware they planned to send her to one. Whatever her siblings planned to do, Applebloom was confident her troubles would end soon enough.
Oh god. Now they think she's crazy.
Applebloom opened her window that night. She
What?
waited until the sun had almost sunk below the trees before she did so. Her family had dozed off a little while ago. Confident she was the only sleepless soul in the house, Applebloom left her bedroom and went downstairs. In the
When she left the
kitchen,
window open, really?
Applebloom procured an old gas lamp. She also took the sharpest kitchen knife she could find from the drawer.
Yes.
Far more useful than the garden hoe she'd chosen last time. But in this case, the purpose was not mere defense.
What? No one didn't tell me.
Applebloom waited until darkness had truly fallen. Then she crept back to her room, the gas lamp held precariously in one hoof, and the knife handle in her mouth.
What is she planning on doing,
Applebloom
though?
nudged the door open, inch by inch, careful to minimize any noise she made.
Is it me or is Fluttershy moving?
The creature was again lying in Applebloom's bed, the outline of its form underneath the
Ugh.
covers. Applebloom placed the gas lamp on the floor. She froze as it touched the floorboards with the slightest thump,
What the?
but she saw no evidence of the creature awakening at the sound. Applebloom held back a sigh of relief.
Just jump her, dude.
Applebloom waited
Jump
a few
her,
more
please.
minutes to ascertain that the thing was asleep. She then approached the bed, knife still clutched tightly in her mouth. She was shaking, but she refused to hesitate in this moment of action. Applebloom reached the side of the bed and gently pressed both hooves against it. She eased herself up, carefully pulling herself onto the bed next to the creature.
Oh god.
And then the creature moved. It was only a slight shift, as if it was trying to get comfortable. But it was enough to completely destroy Applebloom's nerve. Applebloom dropped the knife, a squeak of terror flying out of her mouth. She pressed both hooves against her mouth. But it was far too late.
Oh my god.
The creature seemed to sense Applebloom was near. It moved in one swift, jerky motion, arching its back and bending its head in a way no normal pony could have managed.
What the hell?
The creature gave a long growl, its body appearing to convulse as it threw the covers from it. Applebloom screamed, leaping from the bed.
Oh god.
The creature leaped from the bed as well, moving in a way similar to a spider. It
Oh,
still resembled
damn.
Fluttershy, but its neck was bent at an unnatural angle as if broken, bent to
Oh,
one side and
heck
upside
no,
down.
bro.
It regarded Applebloom with its upside down grin, a grin extending far past what should have been possible. Its tongue hung limply from one side of its mouth,
Ugh, that's
like that
disgusting.
of an excited dog. It was panting in eagerness.
What?
Applejack rushed into the room, a gas lamp in her hoof.
Throw at
What
her.
in the hay is going on?
Applejack said breathlessly. But Applebloom could only whimper, pointing a hoof at the creature that now stood in silent triumph near the window. Applejack's eyes widened with bemusement and horror.
What in darnation?
The creature moved its neck again, adjusting its head to a more normal position. Its face no longer even vaguely resembled Fluttershy.
Really good.
Instead, it had morphed into some twisted mockery of the shy pony's face. The mouth stretched even farther, the pupils smaller than pinpricks. It was breathing heavily, a tongue at least a foot long hanging from its gaping maw.
I knew it. Let's go.
Applejack threw the gas lamp at the creature. It shattered upon impact, setting the vile thing on fire.
See, you
All
gotta
at
you gotta
once, the creature's
use
twisted
what
face
you have,
rearranged
my
itself.
boy. That's
It
a
now
gas
became a more
lantern.
accurate representation
Easy.
of Fluttershy.
Light it on fire.
The flames started to engulf it immediately. A scent not unlike that of sulfur rose as patches of its fur hastily burned away. The creature objected loudly, alternating between screams eerily similar to those of Fluttershy and deep screeches not
Whoa.
unlike that of a tortured
Why let her
bird.
burn, dude?
The fur
Grab
and
something
flesh
or
burned
something
away
sharp and
at an
start
unnatural
stabbing her
rate.
too, bro.
The
You
screams
can't
and
take
screeches
you
continued
can't let
long
it
after they
just
should have
burn.
ended. The last to surrender to the inferno was the light pink mane. After a few moments, all that remained was a charred skeleton.
Oh god.
Applebloom and Applejack did not speak to each other. Neither spoke a word of the incident, even after Applejack had buried the body in a secluded part of the
Buried the
farm.
body is crazy.
In fact, they both took the secret to their graves. Applebloom never again slept with her window open, even on particularly hot nights. Eventually, she was able to resume regular interaction with the real Fluttershy, although it took months before she could look her in the eye. And for a while after that, Applebloom would shudder every time Fluttershy smiled. The creature's smile would haunt her for the remainder of her days.
Bruh. So either way, she still
Occasionally,
didn't.
on nights when it was particularly cold and the wind is close to howling, Applebloom will swear she hears a tapping at her window, but she never gets up to check. She merely snuggles deeper under her covers, willing herself to enter dreamland quicker. But it is a little harder to ignore the voice.
The
It
voice.
whispers to her,
Oh no.
seemingly inches away from her ear.
Oh god.
It sounds very much
No Fluttershy.
like Fluttershy.
It's
I don't wanna-
cold down here.
I'm holding my phone as far as I can. If I can fix it up here. Oh, never mind. As that is it. I'm not gonna lie. What did you send me, dude? Was it good? Yes. It was great. I mostly thought it was gonna be animated, but this is it's good enough. Okay, I don't expect a good animation or anything, but it was great, and just overall love the horror in this. But I'll say, I mean, it was pretty good. You know, and yes, of course. Shout out to Win. Check his channel out, and we're planning on doing a video soon. When, I still don't know. Okay, and I'm sorry I haven't been uploading lately. My schedule has been all over the place. I've been doing work, personal stuff, which mostly limits me from doing any of YouTube. I hope you guys understand. I am active on YouTube. I'm just commenting. I'm just trying to upload shorts, trying to, just try to keep it alive cuz mostly I don't want the channel to just go dead for days and not be able to post anything. You know, but for future videos, I'm thinking of maybe doing another VR chat or might do a Call of Duty Warzone video if I have the time or if I'm able to do it. Either way, also Merry Christmas, which is we all know it's coming, and Happy New Year's, of course. Will I also do something on Christmas? I don't know yet. Just like I did last year when it was Christmas, I did a Uno, but I'm going off script. I'm going off topic here. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this mini reaction. I know it's short, but I still have another more of the list that Win sent me. But I think that I might do another video on it, right into all of them. So I hope you guys stay tuned for that. But so far, thank you guys so much for watching. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. See you guys later.